There was a time when British sports cars were the most sought after sports cars in the entire world. ACs, MGs and Austin Healeys. These cars were brought over to the US by GIs who'd fought in the war but fell in love with them. Now these cars are no longer being manufactured and you don't see many of them out on the road anymore. But there's a new company that's bringing one back to life. This was originally an Austin Healey 104 from 1954, a US spec car. But now this is completely rebirthed, reimagined, reincarnated by a company called Caton.
Based in Coventry, the heart of the British motoring industry, Caton is a new coach-building sub-brand of Envisage. And while you may not have heard of Envisage, you most certainly have seen what they do. For years, Envisage has been working anonymously in the background with major car brands to help them develop prototypes, trade show concept cars, and even aiding in the developing of the manufacturing process for final production cars. But their work is highly confidential, and they can't talk about the amazing work they do in engineering and design. So they've launched Caton as a celebration of what their craftsmen, designers and engineers are capable of, and this is their first project, of which they will build just 25. They've taken an iconic British sports car and used their expertise to breathe new life into it, creating one of the most comprehensive resto mods I've ever seen.
Now the Austin Healey was already an absolutely gorgeous car, and you might think to yourself, well, why would you want to change any of that? But consider for a moment that that car was made in the 50s by men in greasy overalls who may have been in more in a hurry on Friday to get to their homes than they were to finish cars. But take that all in mind, and there's some room for improvement, and it starts straight away, right up front. The grille, while retaining that Austin Healey shape, has been completely rebuilt, recrafted to incredible tolerances, and it has this wonderful jewelry feel to it that makes it feel so much more premium than it ever did on the original car. Different angles on this make it shine and reflect in different ways. It hides its shapes and gives it a different presence no matter which angle you're looking at it from. Also, modern manufacturing techniques have allowed them to create consistency but a hand-feeled shape. You know what I mean? So rather than it being completely random every time it's built, there's a consistency to what is a brilliantly curved shape. The process of getting this has been very complicated. There are no digital drawings of the original car. There's no CAD. There's no reference points in any digital form to refer to. They've had to take the original car, one that was made who knows on what day of the week or what tolerances it was made to, scan it and start to refine the process over and over again of trying to find a way to create a consistent way to put the skin back on top. It means that now there are no shut lines, no seams. This feels like one consistent piece. It's one clamshell, this whole front section. And it's absolutely gorgeous. But while feeling organic and smooth and finished, it's been done in a way that will allow Caton to make more within the exact same principles, within the exact same tolerances. It gives this front end a shape, the whole car a shape that makes it feel like this is what the car was always meant to look like, but updated in a way that just makes it feel right. You can tell it's been improved. Instinctively, you know that this can't have been from the era, but you can't put your finger on what it is. You'd have to put this right next to an original car to be able to see exactly what the details are. But simplicity is definitely part of that. There are no door handles on the side. You reach in and use this latch here. There's no latches on the bonnet. On the rear, there are no visible hinges for the boot lid. The smoothness of the shape, while feeling absolutely right, isn't 100% period accurate, but it feels like it could. There's a change to the rear haunch. It's been enhanced and made more muscular. And while put it next to an original car, you'll see the difference. It does still feel period accurate. It gives that very British racing car feel, like your old C and D types, where that rear muscularity here was very prominent. But it hasn't changed the proportions of the car. It hasn't changed the shape. This taper down here, it feels so natural, but you realize the bumpers have been removed front and back. All those extra chrome details, everything that was there for a safety reason or an easier way of doing things, this has just been simplified. The lights have been reduced. The later Austin Healey's had double set of lights here on the rear. This has been brought down because modern LED lights can have multiple functionality. It's an absolutely gorgeous shape, one that takes everything that was brilliant about the original car and makes it better without feeling alien. It's quite an achievement.
The car retains its original engine, but it has been completely overhauled. Power has been upped to 185 brake horsepower and 195 pounds-feet of torque from the 3-litre 4-cylinder engine. Top speed should be in excess of 100 miles an hour, which the car was originally named after. There won't be any driver aids added, traction control, ABS, none of that, but the brakes have been upgraded with discs all around, ventilated at the front with 4-pot calipers and 3 pots at the rear. At the rear, leaf springs remain. They served the car well in its history of rally success, but the front suspension now has double wishbones with adjustable cores and a new damper system front and rear has been added. The steering, however, remains unassisted, so there's a blend of vintage feel and modern tweaks. All in all, the performance will be less about numbers and more about a classic feel that has a touch more reliability and is safer than the donor car may have been originally when driven at the limit.
Caton has done a truly magnificent job on this interior. There's everything about it balances that same retention of classical qualities while still making it an improvement. Now, they haven't added a massive infotainment system or updated it with a new steering wheel with buttons on it or anything like that. At first glance, everything in here feels like it could have been on the original car. But look at it a bit closer. For starters, you realize the fit and finish of everything is perfect, well beyond what was possible in the 50s. The space, the interior space, feels so much different than it does on cars of this period. I've sat in a lot of cramped classic cars, and the idea of human comfort wasn't always the first thing that people thought of. Also, we tend to be a bit bigger than people of that era. So to accommodate that, there's these little touches. The area under the dash has been pushed in. Although it has the same engine, the gearbox has been changed into a much, much smaller unit, giving us the ability to have much more space here. It visually makes the inside of the cabin look a lot larger, but it means the transmission tunnel has been shrunk down. It means my knees got somewhere to go. Passengers can stretch out. Behind the seats, the bodywork has been curved to allow the seats to shift further back. I'm 6 feet tall and I've had to move the seat forward for me to be able to reach the pedals. Even the Henry Catchpole could get in this car and drive it. The trim, the quality of the leather feels like what inevitably this car will end up costing, that it's worth it. But for me, the real highlight in here is the steering wheel. Now at first glance, this feels like a vintage look and feel style racing wheel. And it is, but it's so much smaller. We think of this as a fairly normal sized steering wheel, maybe even slightly larger than contemporary steering wheels. But compared to steering wheels of the day, this is much more compact, but retains that classic quality. In fact, this 3-spoke design, that's what the Carfection logo is designed on. A 3-spoked old-fashioned racing wheel. Same with the gear knob. This great metal feel on a manual shifter on what will be a massively improved gearbox from the original car. It doesn't feel too far removed from the original, but so far improved that it's lifted it. Technically, this car could still be eligible for the Mille Miglia and sit alongside vintage C-types and the like and be racing down those Italian roads, but be made in a way that fits a 21st century driver. The switch gear, the dials, they've all been reimagined, replaced, and they balance that new and old feel so well. Now, I don't know how much this car is going to cost. They haven't been able to tell us what the final pricing will be, but you feel like you can see where that money goes. Everything in here feels so premium. And while it will have the original chassis, albeit with improvements, and it has the original engine, but refettled and improved, a new gearbox, improved interior trim, you could feel like you're driving a car from the 1950s, but in a way that they would have wanted to make it, rather than how they were able to make it. And I can't wait to take this thing out for a spin. There you have it, the Healey by Caton. What do you think of it? Do you think it's going to be worth what will inevitably be a fair sum of money being charged for it? Is it the kind of thing you like to see? Remember to leave a comment, and we are desperately close to 1 million subscribers. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that button. We'll see you next time.